Hi, everybody. I'm Sam Lagana, and welcome to the historic Los Angeles Athletic Club for the 2021 John R. Wooden Award Tip-Off Luncheon for Southern California coaches. Now, normally we would be here with all the coaches and a lot of great fans, but 2020, as we know, has been kind of an unusual year. Joining me this year is my co-hostess. If you will, please welcome Nikki Kay.
Sam, it's such a pleasure to be here. The crowd goes wild. The energy in this room is palpable. No, we really, truly wish that everybody could be joining us here at the Los Angeles Athletic Club. And it's been a year unlike anything we've ever seen, right? But we still have the great fortune of being able to introduce all of our basketball coaches and, more importantly, introduce the 2021 John R. Wooden Legends of Coaching recipient.
Yeah, Nikki, it's always a highlight to have that as part of this. But just to hear, what do the Southern California coaches from San Luis Obispo to San Diego think about their teams? Now, normally there'd be a little bit more banter because the coaches would be in the room together. But this year, you're going to get some great insights, maybe a little bit more insights from each one of them. So without any further ado, Nikki, what do you got?
All right, first up, coach of the UC Irvine Anteaters. I believe they go zot, zot, zot down there at UCI, right? Coach Russ Turner, he's had incredible success with the Anteaters. I was with the Anteaters when they went to the NCAA tournament back in 2019, got their first ever win, and they are on a streaking hot momentum right now. They were supposed to be able to potentially win that Big West tournament last season, but as we know, it got canceled. So without further ado, here's Coach Turner.
Hello from UC Irvine. I want to say thanks to the John Wooden Award and the LA Athletic Club for putting together this virtual event and including UC Irvine. I'm excited to be here and taking part. Our program just came off of a championship season and graduated the most successful senior class in UC Irvine's history. So we're going to miss those guys. And 13 of our 15 players on this season's roster are either freshmen or sophomores. But our team does return two of the top four players in the Big West Conference, according to Ken Palm's numbers, in Brad Green and Colin Welp. So we're excited for this coming season. Both those players are obviously all conference level performers. And I have a bunch of hungry and talented young players, guys who I believe in, along with a staff that's been with me for a long time. So we have great continuity. Our staff includes Ryan Battertelli, who's been with me for all 10 of my seasons, and two of my former players, in Mike Wilder and Alex Young. I've got great confidence in all of those guys. We expect to be picked to win our league again this season. And although those are lofty expectations, we're excited to compete for a championship. We think it's going to be another winning and exciting season here at UC Irvine, and we hope you'll pay close attention to us. And thanks again to the Wooden Award Committee for including UC Irvine and all of us in this event.
Now we have Sam Scholl of the University of San Diego. Sam was introduced on April 3rd of 2018 as the Toreros' 13th head coach in program history and just the 6th coach since USD moved to NCAA Division I status in 1979-80. Scholl is the man that embodies what USD's head coach should be. He has tremendous character, integrity, and values that match the university. His expertise and experience in the West Coast Conference is strong. His ability to compete at a championship level in one of the nation's top conferences, and he is a true servant leader whose heart positively impacts his student athletes. Here's Sam Scholl.
I want to thank the LA Athletic Club for inviting me to record this Zoom. It's a very kind of a sad thing to be doing because of how much I enjoy this great event, this Wooden preseason luncheon. To have an opportunity to even be involved with something with John Wooden's name on it, and then to be in the same room with so many of the great coaches in this game in the Southern California area that I respect so much is sad to think that I'm not going to have that opportunity this year to be with everybody. But wishing everybody many, many blessings for continued safety and health as we continue to navigate and compete against this pandemic. We're excited, for this season. We started in roughly around August 24th with 1-on-0 workouts, one coach and one player at a basket, and that morphed into two players and one coach, and we were able to pass the ball to each other. And then that's now gone into 5-on-0. And so now we're anxiously awaiting the opportunity that our administration and the people fighting COVID here at the University of San Diego are doing to give us the opportunity to start having contact practice as we continue to build and develop our team for the season ahead. Got some great returners that I'm excited about that have done some great things for our program. Nyayan Masalski and Joey Calcaterra and Finn Sullivan, who've all had great moments as Toreros. And I'm excited about the 5 new transfers that we brought into our program from great programs and who played for great coaches at their previous spots that are coming in to make a great impact here to our program and for us to have a great season. Our schedule, like probably many people, is still a little bit in flux, still trying to figure out some games, but hopefully we can able to schedule as many games as possible to give our athletes the experience of as full of a season as possible through these crazy times. And again, I hope I'm smart enough not to schedule too many people that are in this on this Zoom or on this are involved in the Wooden luncheon. Because there's such great coaches, again, who are always in attendance. So, but thank you again for the opportunity to speak, and we're very excited to go out and be the best versions of ourselves each and every night, and look forward to cheering on all the rest of the great coaches who are involved with this great event. Thanks so much.
All right, next coach is the coach Lorenzo Romar of Pepperdine. Now, Coach Romar has been a successful coach for over 2 decades. He's known as one of the nation's top recruiters, and he's back at Pepperdine for his second stint in charge of the men's basketball program. The 2020 to 2021 season will be his 3rd since his return and his 6th overall with the Waves. In his 23 seasons as head coach at Pepperdine, St. Louis, and Washington, Romar's career record is 423 wins, 318 losses. He won a national championship as an assistant coach at UCLA in 1995.
Hello, everyone. I know we all wish we could get together and things were different, but it is what it is. And I know we've all worked hard to get to where we are. We're going to have a season. I want to thank the LA Athletic Club for persevering and allowing us to still get this done and recognize our different programs and say hello to one another. We're looking forward to this season. We have a group coming back that we like. We have more of a veteran group here at Pepperdine. Last couple of years we've been really young, but we've got 2 players that are returners that are all conference players that are also upperclassmen, especially when you talk about a point guard that's an upperclassman that's talented in a Colby Ross. He's been terrific for Pepperdine basketball. We're excited to have him back leading our team in his senior year, as well as Kessler Edwards, who was all conference last year, is now a junior, and other guys on our team that have learned our system and that are playing together. We like our chemistry. We know that doesn't mean that we're going to win a whole lot of games. We're not sure what's going to happen, but we like the direction that we're headed. We're looking forward to this season. And as I said at the outset, I'm just glad we have a season. I want to wish everyone the best. Wish I could see you, but good luck to everyone. Thank you.
Mike Magpayo of UC Riverside is next. On July 1st of this past year, Mike was named the head coach of the UC Riverside Highlanders men's basketball team. He was promoted to associate head coach in the 2019-20 season when he helped lead the program to a record-tying 17 wins that year. The Highlanders were invited to both the CBI and the CIT postseason tournaments as their reward for such a successful season. As a defensive coordinator, Magpayo was able to push the Highlanders to the top of many of the national rankings defensively. They were top 10 in scoring defense, 2-point field goal percentage defense, and defensive rebounding. Here's Mike Magpayo.
Well, hello, everyone from Riverside, California. First, I want to say how cool this is for me. I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, grew up loving the legend of Coach Wooden. I actually met Coach Wooden once in my life in 2002. My boss at the time took me to a luncheon in the Valley honoring him. My father and I, growing up, owned many of his books and studied many of his coaching tactics. I was here last year at the event and truly enjoyed the speeches from all the coaches and thought to myself, can I ever be as clever as all the coaches were? Funny as Coach Munson, as distinguished as Coach Cronin, or as imposing as Russell Turner. And so I won't even try. I'm just going to stick to the script. Much like many of you, I'm so grateful to be preparing for a season. Our players and our staff at UC Riverside are enjoying and milking every minute of this. We do not take this time for granted. We are now in our third year of building this program. I believe we're ahead of schedule. I credit our athletic director, Tamika Smith-Jones, for all of her passion pouring into our program, and my amazing staff of young, energetic hustlers. Our team here at UC Riverside has a very international feel to it. We have 9 players from down under. That's Australia and New Zealand, for those of you who don't know. 3 players from California, 1 from Texas, and 1 from Chicago. We have a very tight-knit group who all get along great. We are big. Funny saying that from a 6-foot Filipino coach, but I was lucky enough to inherit a full cupboard of size. We got 2 7-footers, 2 6'11" players, and 2 6'9"ers. We were top 10 scoring defense nationally last year, 2nd overall in the Big West per KenPom. Now, in all fairness, we were lacking offensively, so we played a really low-tempo game to help our defense. This year, we intend to grow a ton offensively, mainly with experience. We have 7 guys who've started games for us in the past. And we also add 2 transfers, one a 7-footer from St. Mary's, Jock Perry, and another 6'5" guard from DePaul, Flynn Cameron, also a member of the New Zealand national team. And we'll really count on the senior leadership of Dom Pickett and Arinze Chittum. Arinze Chittum was just named preseason all-conference, and he was our leading scorer last year and our leading rebounder. And he was also a transfer from Washington State. With that year under his belt, we expect him to make a big jump this year. Dom Pickett has an amazing story you may or may not know. He started as a manager here at UC Riverside 4 years ago. When we took over 3 years ago, he was a walk-on on the team and actually started for us at guard the past 2 seasons. And it was only right to give him a scholarship this summer, something that he's rightfully earned. And we expect him to make a big jump as well. And also George Wilborn. His leadership and experience last year starting games for us will be a big force for us this season. The change in our culture is evident, and this is a fun group of young men who have done their best to follow all precautions during COVID, stay healthy, but still enjoy their basketball experience here at UCR. And they're doing a wonderful job. UCR is a place that they love. Number 1, it's sunny. 2, it's a great education. 3, it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful campus. Personally and professionally myself, I'm proud to be in a position as a first-year head coach, and being the first Filipino head coach at the D1 level is an honor and a privilege of itself. Looking forward to playing the teams in this league and getting our guys out there to compete. COVID-19 has definitely changed our world in many ways we never imagined. Our goal is to stay healthy and get through the conference and non-conference schedule, and we wish the same for everyone. Go Highlanders.
And next we have head coach at Cal Poly, Sam Smith, with more than 2 decades of success at the Division I and junior college levels. Coach Smith is in his 2nd season at Cal Poly, and during his first season at last year, the Mustangs recorded the program's 300th Division I win and the 150th Big West Conference victory. During Smith's first season, Cal Poly also played the toughest schedule amongst Big West programs as the Mustangs faced 2 ranked opponents, 2 opponents who finished the year ranked in the AP Top 25 poll, and 5 regular season conference champions. Coach Smith?
Hello, everybody. This is John Smith coming to you from Cal Poly. Starting my 2nd year. Wish we were down in LA at the LA Athletic Club with the usual wooden luncheon. Unfortunately, the pandemic has forced us to do it this way. So I'll give you guys an update on our team and where we're going and what we accomplished last year, which wasn't much. In that first year, we inherited about 14 guys and tried to do the best we could. We lost probably three of our best senior leaders that you can have when you're taking over a program in Jamal Smith, Job Alexander, and Malik Harwell. And their leadership showed as we got into conference, and we reeled off 4 straight wins at home, and had to put ourselves in position to fight for a Big West Conference tournament bid, and came up a little short, and then COVID hit. Since then, we've just been focusing on building year 2. In year 2, we feel that we will have a little bit more continuity. We'll be younger though. 9 of our 14 players will be underclassmen. We have 6 incoming freshmen from Southern California, and the beauty of these freshmen is that they all come from winning programs. 2 of the guys come from Etiwanda High School in Cameron Pierce and Brantley Stevenson. 2 others come from Mater Dei High School, Story program, in Aiden Prukop and Ryan Evans. And then we have a kid, Kobe Sanders from Christian High School in San Diego, and Dyson Kohler from Sandy, Utah. But we've also returned 3 of our 4 leading scorers from last year's team, and 2 of them are sophomores and one's a junior. The junior Tuka Yakala is our anchor in the 6'10", anchor in the big man, about 8 points, 7 rebounds, or 5 rebounds last year. So we returned him, as well as Kobe Rogers, who I think could be one of the uprising sophomores in the Big West Conference from Atlanta, Georgia. He was our second leading scorer at 9 points a game. And then we also have our senior point guard, Keith Smith, who will be returning. And the beauty of our team, reason why I'm a little bit more comfortable, is that we have 3 seniors that are all 5th-year seniors. So that senior leadership should continue on with these 3 guys, and Keith Smith, Mark Crow, and Hank Collinsworth. But as any coach knows, and when you're taking over a program, year 2 is still, you're in muddy waters, and year 3 is when you start to settle down, and hopefully year 2 we can steer the ship a little bit more with these 9 underclassmen. But we're looking forward to a great year, and hopefully we can make the Mustangs proud.
Now we have Cal Baptist's Rick Croy. Rick was named Cal Baptist University's men's basketball coach in the spring of 2013 and completely revitalized the program. In 7 years, Croy's Lancers boast a 169-54 overall record, including a 102-19 mark at home. In CBU's second season in the Division I era, the Lancers produced their first 20-plus win season with an overall record of 21-10 to finish second in the WAC standings. In the first 2 seasons of Division I play, the Lancers have combined to win 37 games, a new NCAA record for most wins in the first 2 years of a transition program. So, now, let's meet Rick Croy.
This is Rick Croy, head men's basketball coach at California Baptist University. Obviously, every year in coaching is a little bit different. It has its own unique story, and this year is by far the most unique. And I think it's been a great time to pause and reflect. And one of the things I reflect on is my journey in college coaching and the things that I have incredible gratitude for. I started my college career in 1999 working for John Macy at UC Riverside. And his program was full of Coach Wooden's wisdom and his lessons about life. I'm grateful for my journey. I'm grateful to be leading these guys here at CBU. It's been an interesting time. Very appreciative of our senior group last year. They broke the record for most wins in the second year of a transition. We had 21 wins, 21 regular season wins, and obviously, like a lot of people, we were getting ready for postseason basketball when it was time to meet in the locker room, and we've got a lot of international guys, and our first thing was to get those guys home and make sure they were safe, and that's really been obviously incredibly important for everyone, is the safety of those that we love, and we continue to act upon that each day. But this has been, it's created a lot of unique leadership opportunities, and I think a lot of learning and listening has been done. One of the things we've talked a lot about is that some of the issues facing our country are not just facing our country, they are impactful around the world. We have an international program. We have 8 guys in our program that come to us from different regions of the world, and we've given them platforms to share. and teach each other about all the things happening in our world. And we've also had the opportunity for our guys that are from here to share. But again, as I reflect, my 22nd year in college coaching, 13th year as a head coach, and it's amazing how many times I reflect on the lessons from John Wooden, either those that I've read or have been passed down through me, to me through mentors, guys that played for John Wooden, guys that were around him, guys that worked camp for him. What an impact he's had on so many people, and what a great leader he would be today for our country. We're incredibly excited about this group that we have. We are truly in transition within the transition. We've got a lot of new faces. We had a great group of seniors with great leadership depth last year, and we've welcomed a lot of new faces. We've got some great returners in Ty Ryle, Reed Nottage, and Trey Armstrong. We're counting on leadership from those guys. But we've got a lot of new guys as well. 3 grad transfers, Mark Carbone, Gorjak Gak, and Elijah Thomas, who have immediately meshed with our returners, created a great chemistry for our team, and they're incredibly enthusiastic every single day, not only about practice and training, but about the upcoming season and their opportunity to represent CBU, whether it's on TV, whether we get to play in front of fans. They can't wait to represent the Lancers. One thing for us as a program, we've always tried to put a major emphasis on getting better the entire way. It's a long season, and along with that is you want to be playing your best basketball at the end of the year. It's been a little different for us these last few years. We've had to set some different and unique and specific goals. This year we're excited. The WAC has invited us to play in the WAC tournament in March. I think it gives us something to really lock in on, and it puts us in a position to be one of those teams that, hey, let's see if we can play our best basketball in March. Let's be men in March. Let's go make something happen. It's a great thing for our program. I think it's great for the WAC. Again, I mentioned our group last year, 21 regular season wins, but they didn't have that caveat, that feather, that opportunity to go play in the WAC tournament. This group gets that. So again, coming back to our goal, let's see if we can be at our best when it counts the most. We're building. We've got great momentum. Last year we finished 4th in attendance in Southern California, San Diego State, UCLA, and we were right behind USC. So it's an exciting time for our program with the transition. We've got a roster that I think is going to be fun to watch. Great versatility. We're going to get scoring from a lot of different guys, and it's going to be a fun team to watch. Obviously, we don't know exactly what attendance looks like, but what we do know is we have tremendous support on campus from our community, from our alumni. It's an exciting time to be a Lancer.
Next, Coach Andy Enfield of your USC Trojans. Coach Enfield, 50 years old, a proven winner as a player, assistant coach, and head coach, was named the USC men's basketball coach on April 1st of 2013. He's quickly brought a lot of success to that Trojans basketball program, which needed it. He guided the Trojans into the postseason in 3 consecutive years, from 2016 to 2018, which was the first time for USC since 2007 to 2009. And his athletes are achieving success not just on the basketball court, but they had the team's top GPAs for the spring, fall, and summer sessions. And he has now a 132-win, 102 losses record in his 7 seasons as the USC head coach, and his 173 wins and 130 losses in 8 seasons as a head coach.
After a long off season, it's been 6.5 months before we were in the gym. Started practicing about 2 weeks ago. We've had 7 practices. We're able to go 5-on-5. So it's great to get our new team out on the floor. The players are excited, coaches are excited, and we're just happy to be on the court working out, have some kind of normalcy. We understand it's going to be a very challenging season for around the country because of the COVID situation with all the testing, and hopefully we'll be lucky enough not to have a lot of postponements or cancellations, but we've had to readjust our out-of-conference schedule significantly, and our league schedule as well, because the NCAA pushing the timing back to November 25th, which would be our opener. So first games on our schedule, we lost our first 4 games before the 25th, so we were supposed to go out Florida Gulf Coast. We're supposed to play Gonzaga up in Portland in the PK Challenge. We lost a couple other home games, And then we also lost our game at Kansas December 19th on the road because the Big 12 moved their conference schedule up. So we lost a lot of key games, and we're like a lot of other schools around the country. We've been in scramble mode. I think we're almost done with our scheduling. We do have 7 non-conference games. We're still on schedule to go to the Mohegan Sun. Hopefully that mini bubble will stay intact and be safe and playable for everybody. But we're almost finished. We have 2 more games just to finish the contracts. And the thing about our team here, we don't have a huge roster, so everybody that's on our team is going to have to play minutes for us. How many minutes and who starts will be determined. We haven't seen these young men for 6.5 months, and we have quite a few new players. We have 3 graduate transfers. We have 2 freshmen. Noah Bauman sat out last year, so really the only players we had seen were Isaiah Mobley, Ethan Anderson, and Max Abampolo. So we have a lot of new faces, a lot of guys that are unproven, meaning they're talented. They just haven't proven at the Pac-12 level yet. So we're excited about our talent level and our roster. They have great chemistry, and we have a lot of athleticism and size and length. But we just have to go prove it. And so I think this training camp and the preseason is for our players to prove to us as coaches and to themselves that they deserve to be in the starting lineup, as well as they deserve to play minutes. Well, Chavez Goodwin has a big-time motor. He's 6'9", about 230 pounds. He's a grad transfer from Wofford. He plays hard every possession. The other grad transfers, Taj Edie, really gives us a secondary ball handler with Ethan Anderson, and Taj is an exceptional shooter, but he's really becoming a pretty good point guard decision maker. So we're excited about his development. And Isaiah White has been an absolute energy guy in practice. He just between his transition, his cutting to the basket, his defense, his rebounding. So they're all the 3 grad transfers are totally different players, but they all give us something that we need on our team. And then the 2 freshmen, Evan Mobley and Boubacar, are having very good training camps. And Evan does some special things in practice that you just every day it seems like he does something different, whether it's offensively or defensively, and that no one else can do on our team or anybody we played against last year. So it's fun to watch some of those spectacular plays. But he's a developing player. He's working on his skill sets, his strength, his defense, and also learning how to score in different positions on the court. He's a very, very good passer and very unselfish. And Boubacar is another freshman who's really developing quickly. We're excited about him. We know his best basketball is in front of him because he just didn't have the experience that some of the players here, because he's only been in the United States for about 3 years, 3 seasons. So we think he's going to be terrific down the road.
Now it's my great pleasure to introduce to you Craig Impleman, the grandson-in-law of Coach Wooden. He will be announcing our 2021 John R. Wooden Award Legends of Coaching recipient. So now let's go over to Craig and his recipient.
It is an incredible honor and a thrill for me to be here today at the Los Angeles Athletic Club to celebrate 38 incredible years of giving, sharing, teaching, loving, improving lives of others by one of the real giants of our game. The one man that if you spoke to John Wooden and to Pete Newell would say, well, Pete Newell said he's a real coach's coach, no frills. One of his players, Sam Sullivan from Fremont High School, later became the coach, said, if you have anything good in you, he'll get it out of you. 38 years, 10 years at Fremont High School, won over 80% of his games. 19 years, Cal State Dominguez Hills. They named the court after this fellow after he left. That doesn't happen too often. And the winningest coach in that school's history. And then 9 years at Cal State LA, where he put together the 5-year greatest run of wins that they had, leaving our coach with 28 years of college basketball, the first Japanese-American coach in college basketball, and the second coach in history of the CCAA to have over 400 wins. Without any further ado, Coach Newell and Coach Wooden are looking down and telling me to be quiet, and they're also saying it's about time that we announce the Legends of Coaching Award for 2021, Coach Dave Yanai. Coach, it is such an honor to be here with you. It's awesome.
Well, it's my honor, Craig, and thank you so much for those kind words. You mentioned Coach Wooden and Coach Newell, and you put me in the same breath, and I'm really humbled by it.
Well, now I have to remind you, Coach Wooden always told me that false modesty is as bad as false pride, and if you get a compliment you deserve, which you do deserve it, you're just supposed to say thank you. So I know right now, some of you young people out there, if you're a Southern California coach or a college coach, you go Newell, Harshman, Wooden, Yanai. These are the giants of the game. And, Coach Yanai is the only person that I know that actually was a friend and a mentee and a mentor to both Coach Newell and Coach Wooden. Coach, the first thing I want to ask you is tell us a little bit about the influence that your family had on your approach to coaching and life.
Well, we would have to go back to my parents, who immigrated from Japan over 100 years ago.
Wow.
To this country, and who taught all of us, my brother, my sister, and myself, the importance of working hard, of perseverance, of really trying to spend each day to try and be a good human being. And more than anything else, at the end of the day, what echoed very clearly to me was the fact that they said the United States of America was the greatest country in the world.
It's not a coincidence that we hear Coach Yanai and Coach Wooden and Coach Newell always in that same sentence, and those words that are connected with all three of these gentlemen. Integrity, the coaching genius is off over here because that's there, but integrity, teamwork, discipline. Coach, tell us a little bit about and I'm going to leave it over to you to do both, about your relationship and what you learned from John Wooden, what you learned from Pete Newell, how that started, how it worked, and share that with us.
Well,
please
to begin with Pete Newell, who was my mentor, and I met him many years ago as a high school coach, and we had a mutual friend that introduced us, and I might say that my first introduction and interaction with Pete lasted about 2.5 hours, and I had about 30 or 40 napkins with notes on them, listening to Pete and all of his wisdom. So that was the beginning with Pete, and he was just an incredible man who shared so many insights about basketball and life. And he was the one that was adamant, and he told me over and over again, Dave, to be a good teacher of basketball fundamentals, first of all, and to share whatever knowledge I gained about the game with other coaches. And I don't know of anyone that shared knowledge with other coaches more than Pete Newell. And most importantly, I think Pete said as a coach, always remember the first and foremost to treat your players as human beings. And that always resounded with me, that he just said care for your players as human beings, beyond the basketball and technical knowledge that you would try and impart. That was the most important thing for Pete. And for Coach Wooden, who is a national treasure, I met him actually when I was doing my undergraduate work at Long Beach State.
When you were a fleet-footed outfielder.
Well, I don't know about that, but I do remember that I had a paper that I had to do for a course, and my subject was pressure defenses.
Wow.
And so obviously Coach Wooden, being within the same city and county, I thought he would be the greatest resource, and I didn't know if I would be able to get an interview with him. But I called his office, and it wasn't a secretary that answered, it was Coach Wooden. And he said, "Can I help you?" And I said, and I was kind of fumbling around. I was so surprised that he was the one that answered. And I said, explained to him my situation about doing this paper. And he says, well, when can you come over? And I said, well, if tomorrow's okay. And he says, come on over about 1 o'clock before we start practice at 3. And so I said, I will be there. And so he spent the greater part of an hour with me. And of course, I had great notes. I wish I would have kept that videotape, or video recording of our conversation. It was really priceless stuff. And so that was my first introduction to Coach Newell. And as I said, he is our national treasure. And by his example, he teaches us that there's nothing stronger than kindness. And he was always saying that to me. And one of the things that he said was that in your coaching, and he emphasized this, always remember preparation and attention to detail in basketball and in life. And he said that use basketball as a vehicle by which you can teach lifetime values. And over again, he said, make each day your masterpiece, and to use each day to help others. And certainly for his wonderful pyramid of success, a gift to all of us, really, to use as a roadmap by which we can, find success and happiness in our lives. And so I am deeply indebted to both those coaches who were just marvelous human beings, really beyond words for me to describe. They were just so great to me.
The hundreds of players that have talked about you and the thousands of people, most of you may not know or know that Coach Unai, his entire life, he's too humble to say it, has done volunteer basketball camps, countless, all over Orange County. His nephew, Harvey Catani, the famous high school coach, said that he worked so hard at the camps that Coach Catani said he came out and he felt dizzy from working so hard at the camp. This is doing it for free. So this is what Coach has done all over. And your players always talk about how you taught them commitment, unselfishness, teamwork, discipline, excellence. What ideas could you share with our coaches in the audience, young and old, that you would like to pass along? And how were you able to translate those lessons to your players in such a way that they're able to use them well beyond basketball?
Well, I can just go right back to Coach Newell's statement that he told me so many years ago that, care for your players as human beings. And if every coach can start with that, then you'll go ahead and pursue knowledge and technical aspects of the game. And always, as Pete said, be a good teacher of the fundamentals of the game. So I would really emphasize that. And, for my players, they have given me far more than I ever gave them.
You see why this is Coach Wooden. There's one of them still alive, right? Out of the three. The other two are up in heaven having lunch going, keep going, Coach Unai.
Well, and I hope they enjoyed the journey as much as I did. And for my players, it was, coaching them was really a pleasure of a lifetime. And I think right in the same vein with my assistant coaches, and I had a lot of young, great assistant coaches, I would just say that I thanked them all the time for all their efforts on my behalf. And further, and I would, really try and emphasize to the young coaches, your friends and your coaching colleagues that spend time with you and share time with you and share their knowledge with you. It's priceless. And to always embrace your coaching friends and to share, as Pete said, your knowledge with them. But it's priceless time as you move down this path, this journey, because it does go very quickly. And they say that if you are enjoying yourself, it does go quickly. So with that, I would just say to the coaches that it's so important that they understand these different positive things that you can draw from coaches in the past. And as I said to you earlier, Craig, that I think we as coaches, we don't draw enough from these historic coaches of the past, who just gave the game such a positive impetus in moving it to this point. And I think about Coach Krzyzewski, a good friend, Coach Krzyzewski, who taught me the importance of good leadership. And I've always said that he's the gold standard of leadership. And for these young coaches, because Coach Krzyzewski is still young and vibrant and coaching at Duke, that they could learn well some of the important things about coaching from a Coach Krzyzewski. And there are numerous other coaches across the land that, not necessarily college coaches, but high school coaches that just are marvelous coaches. And if they could sometimes just look in your own backyard and take the time to go watch a practice, or share some time where you can exchange ideas about basketball, you would be surprised at how much you can gain by the exchange. And Coach Wooden used to always say, be a good listener, and not be so anxious to say your piece or whatever on any subject. It's amazing how you can learn a lot from listening.
Well, Coach, it's a great day for all of us to have you here. Well-deserved, long overdue, a real legend of coaching and a person that really exemplifies everything that we want to have in the Legends of Coaching award. Congratulations, Coach. And thank you
so much, Craig.
Thank you, Coach Impleman, and congratulations to Coach Yanai. Coach Yanai will receive the honor and the formal presentation of the Legends of Coaching Award during the 2021 Wooden Award weekend in April.
And next up, Coach Dan Monson of Cal State Long Beach. And he has really rebuilt this Long Beach State basketball program in his 13 seasons with the Beach. He's the winningest coach in LBSU history. Monson has piled up over 200 wins at LBSU and led Long Beach State to 3 Big West championships, 6 top 3 finishes, 3 NIT appearances, as well as a trip to the 2011-2012 NCAA tournament. Monson's success at Long Beach State has been rewarded with 3 Big West Coach of the Year awards, as well as back-to-back NABC All-District Coach recognition from 2010 and 2011. The Conference Coaching Award following the 11-12 season marked the 4th time that Monson has been recognized as a league's top coach, and he previously won the honor as the West Coast Conference Coach of the Year in 1998, following his first season at Gonzaga.
Well, first of all, as always, I'd like to thank the Los Angeles Downtown Athletic Club. It's always a pleasure usually to see everybody once a year. I think this will be my 14th or 15th year, and obviously this year we're doing it a little differently. I think my wife's been social distancing me now for 7 months. Now you guys are doing it to me today, but we'll do it this way, however you guys want to do it. And I look forward to telling you a little bit about our team. Last year, I remember standing up there talking about how we lost 96% of our offense and like 92% of our rebounding, and everybody kind of laughed, and I said it wasn't funny. And it wasn't funny because we struggled replacing that last year. This year, it's just kind of the opposite. We have about 90% of everybody back offensively and rebounding and so forth. So we have a good nucleus back, but that's the good news. Bad news is we have them all back, and we didn't play very good last year. So, hopefully we'll use the experience card this year, because the experience of last year wasn't good, and hopefully this year then having them back, it'll be an opportunity for us to know what we have to do this year. We've got a couple of front court guys. Chance Hunter averaged about 15 a game for us last year back, and Michael Carter, a transfer from. We have transfers from University of Washington, and Colin Slater, a transfer from Tulane, who gives us some experience back there, and Drew Cobb. So we have some seniors this year. Those Drew Cobb's a senior, Jordan Roberts is a senior, and Colin Slater. So hopefully that leadership and the experience factor, coupled with a couple of newcomers, Isaiah Washington, a transfer from Minnesota and Iona, and Raymond Hawkins, a transfer from Alabama. So we're, again, like I think I said last year, the melting pot of college basketball. We got guys coming from all different areas, and hopefully, to make a good season. Our schedule's a little different this year. Usually we play a pretty heavy schedule with everybody short of the Lakers on it, but this year we're more of a bus league because of the virus. We're trying to keep most of our games locally, so most of our games go from San Diego to Loyola Marymount to San Francisco as our farthest. I think the only time we'll be on a plane would be the Hawaii game, unless we decide to fly to San Francisco or Davis or something like that. So looking forward to hopefully a different type of year, hopefully a year, and we'll get these games in, and we can get out on the court and redeem ourselves a little bit from last year, because I do like this group. I think it's a good group of guys that we're just a little short on knowing what to do last year, and hopefully this year we can, as I said, draw off that experience. So thanks again for letting me be a part of this, and I hope everybody is staying safe and has a great day.
Up next is Joe Pasternak of UC Santa Barbara. Coach Pasternak is entering his 4th season in Santa Barbara, leading the Gauchos to 66 wins over his first 3 seasons, including a school record tying 23 wins in his first season. In the 19-20 season, the Gauchos finished the regular season at 21-10 and earned the number 3 spot in the Big West tournament. Now, here's Coach Joe.
Hello, my name's Joe Pasternak, head basketball coach at UC Santa Barbara. We're really looking forward to this season. Although we know it'll be a strange season and a different season, we know we all have to be flexible, but we're looking forward to the team that we have returning. We have 5 seniors who all have had a lot of experience playing college basketball. Robinson Edahan is a 5-man who returns to us for a 3rd year, who we expect big things from. Destin Barnes is a transfer from the University of Jacksonville, who is a double-figure scorer at Jacksonville. DeVearl Ramsey has been our point guard for the past couple years. We expect him to have a big senior year, along with Ja'Cory McLaughlin, who was an all-conference player last year, who will be our primary scorer, and a lot of underclassmen who, first and foremost, Amadou Sow, who was a second-team All-League player last year. We're really excited to have him, and transfer from Oregon, Miles Norris, who went to San Francisco City Junior College. Has a lot of potential, and really excited about his development moving forward this year. And although we just started practice on Monday in the Thunderdome, we have a lot of excitement brewing here in Santa Barbara, and we're wishing everybody to have a safe and healthy year.
And next up, we have Coach Dutcher of San Diego State off a smoking hot season with the Aztecs. Now, Coach Dutcher is entering his 4th season as head coach after 3 years in which he led the Aztecs to 3 Mountain West title games, their conference record 11th and 12th Mountain West titles, and back to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2015. He's the only coach in the 99-year history of San Diego State men's basketball to win at least 20 games in each of his first 3 seasons at the helm. Now, last year, his squad ripped off a program record 26 straight wins to open the season, and they peaked for 8 straight weeks at number 4 in both the AP and USA Today Coach's top 25 polls before finishing the regular season at number 6. The Aztecs went 30-2 on the year, including 17-1 in conference play.
I'm most disappointed for our seniors that didn't get a play in the tournament. Malachi Flynn, KJ Fagan, and Yanni Wetzel. 3 really good players that didn't get a play on the biggest stage. Other than that, we've put that behind us. We're focused on this season. Want to get out and try to see if we can play really good basketball again this year at San Diego State. We have great depth, and we'll have players like Trey Pulliam that played behind KJ and Malachi last year that didn't get the opportunity that he probably deserved. We'll have a chance to step out on the floor and showcase what he's about, and we're really excited about Trey. Obviously, Terrell Gomez, our 5th-year transfer from Northridge, is a first-team all-conference player from the Big West, and he's proven himself well in practice so far. And we have a lot of really good pieces. So the thing we're going to have to learn is how we're going to close games, and that's just all about playing now finally. So I like our pieces, and I like our team. Our expectations are that we play passionate and perfect basketball at the defensive end, and that we share the ball on offense and try to find out who the hot hand is and know that from a game-to-game basis and ride that hot hand. So not a lot has changed since Steve Fisher was the coach here. It's a defensive program and a program that shares the ball at the offensive end. Well, most of these kids that come here because they want to win at a high level. And as long as winning is the most important thing to them, then they fit in our program. And so we take great pride in getting to know these young men, whether they're incoming freshmen or fifth-year seniors, that winning is the most important thing and that winning often requires sacrifice. And so the players we've had come into our program have all sacrificed for the good in the team. And I have no question that Terrell Gomez and Joshua Tomajic will fit that mold. They want to win, and they want to play good basketball. We're excited by the opportunity to continue that tradition. We know what pressure is that only our best is going to do, and we want to continue to win. And San Diego State won't accept anything but winning. So it's pressure, but it's the kind of pressure we like. Mick Cronin and I have been longtime friends. I'm appreciative that he's bringing the Bruins down here to play in our MTE event along with Pepperdine and UC Irvine. So we're excited with that opportunity to open the season. But we've got other challenging games. We got Arizona State, obviously BYU, trying to finish up a contract right now with St. Mary's. And so we're going to be challenged in the non-conference schedule, but I think that's a good thing in these COVID times that we may not have as many games, but the games we've decided to play are all high-quality games. We chose not to bring our team back in the summer with the restrictions we were under in the state of California. When we came back in the fall, we were shut down for a short period of time. But knock on wood, we've got a decent rhythm to preparation right now. But we're not naive enough to know we could get a phone call and a positive test at any moment and be shut down again. And so I just think this is a year like no other. We all know that, and we can't overreact to things. We just have to deal with situations as they come and try to do our best to prepare the kids to play basketball, but also to keep them in a good mental place. We pipe some noise into the arena, so we're playing with some crowd noise as a background to play against. I think the team would like to turn it up so they wouldn't have to listen to me as much. So we may turn it up louder than it is in a normal game. But, we're trying to do some things to give us that atmosphere without being distracting. And so it's the new normal for this year that we're going to play in empty arenas and going to have to generate our own enthusiasm, excitement on the floor, and I think we'll do that. It's going to be a different dynamic. Obviously, our fans have won us games at Viejas. If we get down, they never quit on us. They stay in the game, and they create a lot of energy for us at times. So it's going to be a year like no other, and that's going to be everywhere we play. You know, we'll go to some places where they may have a certain percentage of the stands filled, but we'll bring our own energy. We'll play with great pride and passion and try to represent San Diego State the way we have over the years.
Next up, we have Cal State Fullerton's Dietrich Taylor, a former Arizona State associate head coach in men's basketball and a longtime college assistant. Dietrich Taylor was appointed the 11th men's basketball coach in Cal State Fullerton history on April 3rd, 2013 by athletic director Jimmy Donovan. Entering his 8th season at Cal State Fullerton, Taylor posts an overall record of 94 and 127. The 2019-20 had their season cut short just prior to the start of the Big West Conference tournament, and the team had 3 graduating seniors sign professional contracts for top leagues in France, Portugal, and Austria. Let's meet Coach Taylor.
It's a pleasure and an honor to be here representing Cal State Fullerton at the John R. Wooden Luncheon. Feel very, very fortunate, obviously, in the times that we're in, to be in front of you guys and speak to you guys, coming from a space of Coach Wooden. You know, the humility that he had and the respect that he had and how he carried himself for everybody is something that we hold near and dear to our heart, and it's something that we are trying to do with not only myself, but with our program and all of the guys that are associated with our program. And so we're excited to be here. We're excited to embark upon what we think will be a season. We're still trying to take safety extremely safe, or extremely that's at the beginning of everything that we do, or at the front of everything that we do. So having said that, obviously with the COVID cutting short the last season and moving forward, cutting short recruiting, we do still have 8 new guys to add to our roster, of which I am really, really excited about all 8 of them. But in the same token, we have 3 or 4 guys that are returning from last year. One in particular that played a lot of minutes, Wayne Arnold. We're expecting for him to move to the forefront in terms of our scoring and quite frankly, our defensive philosophy as well, because he knows it and he does a pretty good job of executing it. And so the running joke is that if we do have a successful season, we're going to recruit on Zoom, and I'm never going out anymore. So we'll keep things the same because we do obviously have quite a few new guys, and I think 6 of those guys are all guys that we got via Zoom. So when they arrived on campus August 14th, it was their first time seeing campus and kind of getting familiar with it and all that stuff. And that being said, we're slowly but surely trying to work ourselves back into some shape. Getting on campus and doing the strength and conditioning starting next week. We're behind, I think, a lot of people, but it is what it is. As I mentioned, safety first. Hopefully we'll be in some type of shape to start the season. But I think our class is highlighted by a guy, a graduate transfer, Joshua Hall, who we are expecting will do everything for us. Also, there's quite a few junior college transfers. We're hoping to get eligible the college transfer from Oakland, Trayvon Maddox Jr. But we got a little bit of everything. We got 2 high school kids that I think are really, really talented, but they're typical freshmen. They don't know a whole lot, but they're super, super talented. So we're really excited about them. One coming from Chicago and the other coming from Omaha, Nebraska. So we're super excited about them. Exchanging the cold weather and the inclement weather for what we have as the warm weather here. As you can see, it's almost 100 degrees as I speak. So we're really, really excited about getting familiar with each other and learning each other and the chemistry that it takes to build a winning program and a winning team, quite frankly, amongst ourselves. But so far, so good. Everybody's saying the right stuff. It's just a matter of doing what we are saying on the floor and doing it with consistency. So we'll still play the same way. We'll still play fast as we can. Well, we'll still defend, rebound, and run, and all of those things. But obviously, we're at a different point because we got to get a level of buy-in from our guys and a level of understanding from our guys. Because again, as I mentioned, we have quite a few new guys, but we're excited about all of them nonetheless. So far, they're doing a pretty good job in the classroom, but we're about to integrate the basketball piece into their schedule with the time management and all that stuff. So hopefully they can stay organized and we can produce what we think is a successful run at another Midwest Conference championship. So thanks again for having me. Appreciate everybody. Wish everybody well, and hope you are safe.
Next up, we have someone new to the group here, Stan Johnson of Loyola Marymount, who was just named the head coach of LMU's basketball program on March 20th of this year. Now, before arriving at LMU, Johnson coached 5 seasons at Marquette University. He was promoted to associate head coach in June of 2017 after helping guide the Golden Eagles to an NCAA tournament trip in 2016. Marquette also made a run to the NIT quarterfinals in 2017 and returned to the NCAAs in 2019.
What a tremendous honor it is for me to be part of such an amazing group of coaches that represent tremendous institutions throughout Southern California. I'm elated to be a part of this group. Happy to be here today with you. Wish we could have been in person where I could truly experience this great event. But it is my honor to say the least. One of the extremely interesting time I've had in my journey here to LMU, accepting the job and going through it, through a pandemic. So for anybody out there that wants a book on how to take a job during a pandemic, I'm your guy. So give me a call and I can certainly help you through that process. But it's been great. I'm excited to be here. My family's excited to be here in California, and couldn't be happier being the head coach at Loyola Marymount. Usually when we take over programs or you take over a program, you're walking into things at times that maybe you don't like or don't want. Although we have a lot of work to do, we're certainly in a place right now where I feel like I've inherited some really good pieces and a very good work culture that Coach Dunlap installed and instilled in his time here. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the players we have returning. For me, one of the beauties of taking this job, and one of the things that really excited me about taking the job, was having Matthias Markson back, who was not with the team last year due to family reasons. Having Joe Quintana back, and having Damian Douglas back on our basketball team. Those are three guys that have an opportunity to really impact us at a high level and impact winning and losing. So to have those three guys and walk into a situation where you have three veteran guys who have played meaningful minutes, that have great experience with them back on our team excites me. To add that to Eli Scott and Kelly, who played so many minutes last year as a freshman, was all freshman team in our league. When you're talking about Eli, you're talking about a guy who's was second team All-League and has a chance to be a first team All-League guy, who I believe is an interesting matchup for a lot of different people. You can play in a lot of different areas on the floor. Someone who I believe has a chance to be a first-team guy, someone people are talking about nationally, I hope, as the season goes. So I'm excited about the veteran guys that are back in our program. I'm also excited about the freshmen and transfers that we've added. Those guys have done a great job thus far, really understanding who we are, our culture, and who we want to be. And they fit schematically from a game plan standpoint, from a system standpoint of how we want to play basketball here at LMU moving forward. It's been great. The first few months of practice and workouts, we've had to actually be outside on the tennis court, so we don't know how to act now that we're actually allowed back in Gershon and we're practicing. That's been great. We've been doing that over the course of the last 3 weeks or so. And as all of you know, I sit here today. Today marks the first day of official practice for all of us and our basketball team as well. Practice has been great, and we've had a chance to kind of put in our system, how we want to play both sides of the ball, but more importantly, the pace in which we want to operate when we're working and when we're practicing. And we're nowhere near where I want us to be and where we're going to be, but our hearts and minds and our spirits in the right place. And if we can continue to grow that way, the execution and those things will take care of itself. But I'm really excited about how our guys are coming together. I'm excited about how they're attacking our culture and how they're trying to build on that. I'm excited how we're trying to connect on the floor and off the floor. And we're a work in progress, obviously, in a condensed schedule. So that's something our staff is working tirelessly around to try to implement all the things we all need in order to play a game, but to make sure that we're not skipping steps along that way. And fundamentally, we're sound, even though we're in a condensed schedule. Obviously, the league we play in, the WCC, being at Marquette and being on the other side of the country, this league is respected throughout the country. And I think it's one of the best basketball conferences in the nation. 8th rated league last year, I believe. And the thing that strikes me about our league is not only how good the players are, because we have really good players, we've got some great coaches all across the board. And I think you've got some guys in our league right now that are kind of coming into their own. and guys that are going to be nationally renowned coaches. I really believe that. This is a great coaching league. We've got Hall of Famer in the league, but it's a league that consists of some great players, regardless of what school you're talking about. So for us, we got our work cut out. I hope our non-conference schedule will prepare us for the WCC and all that's going to entail. But again, excited to be here. This is a place I really, really wanted to be, and this is a place I believe we can win at. It's going to take time, but I really feel like we're on the right track. Again, thanks for having me. Wish we could have done this in person, but I'm extremely humbled to be a part of such a great group. Thank you.
And to finish off, a coach very near and dear to my Bruin heart, Coach Cronin, coming into his second year with UCLA men's basketball. Now, Coach Cronin comes into this season having compiled a 384 win and 183 loss record in 17 seasons as a collegiate head coach. And we loved what he was doing with those young Bruins last year. Now, Cronin has led his teams to 11 NCAA tournament berths and guided the Cincinnati Bearcats to the NCAA tournament in each of his final 9 seasons as their head coach from 2011 to 2019. He was just one of 6 coaches in the country to have led his program to the NCAA tournament during those 9 seasons. And as Bruin fans, I have every reason to believe he's got something cooking in Westwood. Coach Cronin?
Well, it was obviously the quarantine made it a different summer. So we tried to make sure we stayed in touch with the guys. At first, we were just trying to keep their spirits up, right? Give them hope, make sure we stayed together as a group. We had a fun meeting one night. Thank you to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for his 45-minute presentation with the team and question and answer. That was probably the highlight of our summer. But just trying to make sure that we told the guys to stay safe, try to stay in shape, but you know, health and safety comes first. I think Tiger was a big key for our season last year, getting him healthy. It took about half a season to do that, in fairness to him, to get his sea legs back, so to speak, be in game shape. And once you saw him get his conditioning, then he was able to display his talent. And to be able to be in the situation he was in coming off the ACL as a freshman, having to carry such a big load for us at UCLA was immense pressure. So last year I was trying to keep him together, just keep his confidence together all season. Well, David, once he got healthy again, it was tough for him. I don't know if he ever felt like himself last year, being out for 6 months, just getting cleared to play before our first game versus Long Beach State. He was playing catch up all year, and I don't think he ever really got his legs underneath him. He was just playing with heart. He's such a good guy, he's such a team guy. Having him out there, and the more we had him out there, the more he made us just a better team, whether he was making shots or not. But he's in a much different place this year, you know, where he's had a whole off season of being healthy, does a great job of staying in shape through quarantine on his own and his training. So, you know, I look for him again to get off to a much better start than he did last year. And having him being another ball handler on the floor with Tiger was a big help for us. Well, I'm hoping that we're going to shoot a better percentage this year. Obviously, Tiger is going to be important in that, having his legs, having his confidence. He's out there a lot. And then you start from there. Then you obviously adding Johnny Juzang, David Singleton, Jake Kyman, Chris Smith, Jaime, Jules, guys that can make shots, being more consistent. Experience has told me this, you know, when guys get older, they shoot a higher percentage. Young players tend to shoot a lower percentage. So it's going to be important for us, though. You know, we're so far early on, our numbers in our shooting are way better. We chart everything. We shoot on the clock. We shoot for numbers. We're exponentially better early this season than we were at this point last season here in early October. So I think that we're going to be a better shooting team. A lot of that as well, not just experience, but better passing will help our shooting. And we became a better shooting team as the year went on because of our passing was a lot better. But I think with the addition of Johnny, Jake's confidence as a sophomore, David being in much better physical shape, I think we're definitely going to be able to shoot the ball a lot better from the three-point line. Well, we were really excited when Chris decided to come back and stay with us. I think it was a great move on his part to get his UCLA degree and really prepare himself. He was going to get an opportunity at the pro level, but I think he can make himself a guaranteed professional this year. And the key for Chris is consistency. You know, it's just he had those games where he was dominant, and getting him in a dominant mindset. Again, he comes in at a such different level this year than he did last year. Last year, he was trying to figure out who he was on the floor and get his confidence back. Quite frankly, his confidence was shaken when I got the job here. And we came in with a new coaching staff. Now that he's established himself in the Pac-12 and he made himself an all Pac-12 player, he's got to take the next step to being one of the better players in the nation. And he's got to do that through his intensity level at all times, his mindset at all times. He's got to stay hungry at all times. He's got to have the killer mentality. People can't stop me. That goes conditioning, but it's also a mental state. Well, Jalen Hill came on strong for us last year, as we had to. You know, we had a team that had lost a lot of the guys that had played the most minutes, and Jalen and Cody had to play a lot of minutes, and they hadn't done that before. I think growing up, maturing mentally has been the biggest thing for Jalen Hill. Again, I'm a big believer in identity. You know, when you're a big, strong guy that's a great athlete, you have to use that to your advantage. And when he does that, he can be a dominant player around the rim with his offensive rebounding, with his shot blocking. He's running the floor much better. He's got to cut down on his turnovers, make some better decisions. Again, you know, first year playing big minutes, he learned to not be so careless with the ball at times, just areas he's got to improve. But he's come back. You can tell he's a year older. And, you know, I look forward to that. For all the guys, you know, the things we're teaching them are not new anymore. So Jalen Hill's going to have a big year for us. It's just a matter of, you know, getting him to the floor, keeping him out of foul trouble. I think, you know, dealing with young people, the biggest challenge is keeping their focus day to day and not thinking about where they're going to be a year from now or where they're going to be 2 years from now, let alone 3 weeks from now. So that's the biggest challenge that we all have in coaching, and keeping our guys focused on getting better every day. I think we learned some tough lessons last year that we're going to have to remind them of. To make sure that we do not forget, you know, you don't win games unless you earn it. You have to deserve to win. You'll start winning when you deserve to win. And the reason you deserve to win is you put in the work and you learn how to play winning basketball. And then the biggest component is, you know, you got to be willing to be tougher than your opponent. You know, everybody talks about toughness, everybody plays hard. Can you play harder than teams in the Pac-12 that are extremely well coached, that really want to win just as much as you do? You know, so it's all relative to, you know, how tough you are versus who you're going up against. So reminding our guys that is something that we'll be doing every day. I'm a big believer that that's what separates programs, their levels of competitiveness. And, you know, we spent all our time trying to build that into our DNA since I came to Westwood. And you just touched on the most important thing I think there is in competitive sports, in making sure guys stay focused, and the work ethic is the biggest thing you can teach a young person.
Wow, what a great cadre of coaches we have in Southern California. And we got to hear from each and every one of them. Nikki, this was your first experience. What do you think?
You know what, I am fired up, especially by all the talent we get to watch coming up for this next basketball season. Yes, it'll be different, but you know what? We still get action out on the court, and Southern California is going to be represented by the best.
Well, the basketball season starts, thanks to the NCAA, on November 25th. So check the schedules of each of your favorite teams and tune in, because all these teams are going to be on the internet this year. And Nikki, tell us, what is your favorite team?
Oh, obviously, I got to represent my alma mater. Go Bruins. Coach Cronin, love what you're doing with this young roster. I think we saw great flashes last season, and I think they're going to do even more this season.
Well, you can catch Nikki K on Spectrum News 1 almost every morning with some great stories on sports and lifestyles here in Southern California. So, with no further ado, we're going to sign off. I'm Sam Lagana. chairman of the John R. Wooden Award, saying thank you for being with us today. And we'll look forward to you following along with woodenaward.com as we announce all of our Wooden Award Watch honorees throughout the season. Nikki, any final thoughts?
Thank you for having me. This has been an incredible legacy to celebrate, and I can't wait to watch what this season has in store for us.
We got a great one. Thanks so much for being with us. So long, everybody.